ThyssenKrupp AG (ThyssenKrupp) is a European multinational conglomerate corporation based in Duisburg and Essen, Germany. The corporation consists of 670 companies worldwide. While ThyssenKrupp is one of the world's largest steel producers, the company also provides components and systems for the automotive industry, elevators, escalators, material trading and industrial services. As of a 2009 reorganization, it is structured into 8 business areas that fall under 2 major divisions: materials and technologies. The materials division concentrates on carbon steel, stainless steel, and material services, while the technology division concentrates on elevator, plant and components technology, and marine systems. The company is the result of the 1999 merger of ThyssenKrupp, and now has its operational headquarters in Estland. The largest shareholder is the Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation, a major German philanthropic foundation, created by and named in honor of Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach, a former owner and head of the Krupp Company. Once the largest company in Europe, ThyssenKrupp has 5,500 employees and generates €1.6 billion in revenue in Spain, where it mainly manufactures elevators. Italy, where the company produces most of its stainless steel, generates €2.3 billion in revenue. The businesses in those 2 countries make up 9% of all sales for the company. ThyssenKrupp's products range from machines and industrial services to steel production and shipbuilding. It also has activities in the sphere of defense. Construction of the corporate headquarters began in 2007. The first buildings were complete in 2010. The second phase of building was completed in June 2015. Situated in the west of Essen, the corporate campus was designed by Chakes and Amp, Morelle Associates and JSW-De Architekten. The design was selected for construction in an architectural design competition in 2006. History. ThyssenKrupp is the result of a merger of 2 German steel companies. Thyssen AG, founded in 1891 under the name Gewerkschaft Deutscher Kaiser, and Krupp, founded in 1811. As early as the 1980s, the companies began negotiations on a merger and began closely cooperating in some business areas. In 1997, the companies combined their flat steel activities, with a full merger completed in March 1999. Beginnings. Krupp 1811. Friedrich Krupp establishes a cast steel factory in Essen, Germany. 1826. After Friedrich Krupp's death in 1826, his widow Therese Krupp runs the company together with other relatives and her eldest son Alfred, who was 14 years old at the time. 1833. Krupp manufactures complete rolling machines. 1847. Expansion of the railroads increases demand for durable cast steel, triggering the company's first surge of growth. Supplies include axles, springs and the seamless tires that can withstand increasing speed without cracking. 1859. Prussian military orders 300 gun barrels, marking development of the company's second major production segment, shortly after Krupp begins producing complete artillery. 1862. Construction of the first Bessemer steel plant on the continent for mass production of rails and steel sheet. 1864 to 1872. The company purchases various iron ore mines to avoid dependency on external supplies. In 1873, Krupp establishes his own shipping company in Rotterdam to transport ore from the Spanish company Orca, in which he owns shares. 1872, Alfred Krupp issues a general directive establishing company hierarchy from foreman to management. Included in the directive are regulations concerning company welfare programs, including the pension fund, sickness and death benefit insurance, company bakery and retail store, worker housing estates and healthcare, all of which were slowly introduced beginning in 1836. Thyssen 1867, establishment of Thyssen, Fossil and Amp Co., her company making hoop iron for barrels, crates, baling, etc. 1871, establishment of Thyssen and Amp Co. in Mülheim an der Ruhr, Germany. 1891, August Thyssen becomes owner of the Gewerkschaft Deutsche Kaiser coal mine in Hamborn near Duisburg. 1 year earlier, the Thyssen company constructed a steel mill directly adjacent to one of the pits. Thus Thyssen grows into an iron and steel mill with its own coal base. Wilhelminian period. Krupp 1893. Following the death of Alfred Krupp in 1887, Friedrich Alfred Krupp expands his father's enterprise with takeovers of additional steel mills and shipyards and construction of diesel engines in collaboration with Rudolf Diesel. 1899. With the acquisition of and/or increased investment in various coal mines, business development concentrates on vertical structures with expansion of a coal base. 1903. Friedrich Alfred Krupp dies suddenly in 1902 at the age of 48 and his eldest daughter Bertha Krupp inherits the company. The company is converted into a stock corporation by will of the late owner. Bertha retains all the stock, as she is still a minor. Her mother Margareta Krupp, as guardian and proprietor, takes over the head of the company, managed by a board of directors. 1906. Bertha Krupp marries Gustav von Bohlen und Halbach, who adds the Krupp name as a prefix to his own family name. He is appointed vice chairman of the board and serves as chairman through 1943. 1912. Development of stainless, acid-resistant steels quickly finds application in the chemical and food processing industries, medicine and building. The spire of New York's Chrysler Building is clad in the new stainless steel panels. 1917. The heavy mortar gun, Big Bertha or Paris gun, is developed with a range of 130 kilometers. Thyssen 1895. Thyssen sets up integrated iron and steel mill with the construction of a blast furnace plant at the Gewerkschaft Deutsche Kaiser. Subsequent expansion is focused on vertical integration of the group. 1906. Intracompany trading and shipping organizations are established to facilitate transport of iron ore to the blast furnace plants. In 1910, the N.V. handles and transport Maatschappij Vulcan Ocean Shipping Company is establishment in Rotterdam to keep the Thyssen Group independent of the international freight market. 1910. Expansion with mills in the Lorraine and Normandy. 1912. Various branches are set up in the Mediterranean area so that freighters can store coal en route to Russian or Indian ore mines besides delivery of coal or freight for third parties. 1913. Attention is paid to Latin America with the founding of the Deutsche Überseehandelsgesellschaft. Thyssen constructs extensive housing estates and related infrastructure to attract workers to the Western Ruhr area. By the end of 1913, Thyssen owns 8,750 housing units for 15,500 employees and 850 civil servants, housing for 44,000 people. 1914. Gewerkschaft Deutsche Kaiser begins producing armaments for the First World War. To compensate for labor shortages, women, civilians from Belgium and prisoners of war work for the company. Weimar Republic. Krupp 1919. Following the Treaty of Versailles, Krupp reverts to peacetime production focusing on manufacture of locomotives, trucks, agricultural machinery and excavators. The post-war circumstances of inflation, occupation, and dismantling the company's industrial infrastructure led to a financial crisis in 1924-25. The company stabilizes by streamlining processing operations and expanding stainless steel production among other measures. 1926. Sintered tungsten carbide was developed by Osram as a material for machining metal. In 1925, Krupp buys the license and brings sintered carbide onto the market, exploiting its exceptional hardness and wear resistance, representing a breakthrough in tool engineering. 1929, a 15,000-ton forging press goes into operation in Essen. It is at the time the largest worldwide. ThyssenKrupp 1919. The company is renamed from Gewerkschaft Deutsche Kaiser to August Thyssen-Hutter. Gewerkschaft and mining operations are transferred to an independent company, Gewerkschaft Friedrich Thyssen. The company's foreign interests in the Allied and Soviet countries are expropriated. 1926. Major parts of the ThyssenKrupp are transferred to a newly merged group, Vereinigte Stahlwerke AG, bringing together several coal and steel companies in the Ruhr area to solve cost and production problems of excess capacities. August Thyssen dies at Schloss Landsberg near Essen. His sons Fritz Thyssen and Heinrich Thyssen, born Immisser, inherit the industrial enterprises. His other two children, Hedwig and August Jr., are compensated differently. Third Reich. Krupp 1937. As dictated by the state's four-year plan, production of locomotives, trucks and ships is expanded and armaments production is resumed. 1941. Krupp Germania shipyard is extended with acquisition of Deutsche Schiff- und Maschinenbau AG (Duisburg) to include larger ships and submarines. Krupp takes advantage of foreign laborers, slave laborers and prisoners of war to compensate for labor shortages. Thyssen 1934. The company August Thyssen-Hutter AG is spun off the Vereinigte Stahlwerke AG as a so-called operating company. 1939. Fritz Thyssen, chairman of the board of Vereinigte Stahlwerke AG, flees to Switzerland after the invasion of Poland. Vichy France hands over Thyssen and his wife to the German Reich at the end of 1940. 1940. A rearmament policy is introduced in the mid-1930s, and with the outbreak of war, labor is conscripted and supplemented by foreign workers, forced laborers and prisoners of war. 1945. Thyssen-Hutter mill in Hamborn occupied by U.S. troops. Mergers and acquisitions. During a period of expansion in 1978, Thyssen AG entered the North American automotive industry with the acquisition of Budd's automotive operations, which became the automotive division of Thyssen and operated in North America as Budd Thyssen, later ThyssenKrupp Budco. In October 2006, ThyssenKrupp sold ThyssenKrupp Budd's North American body and chassis operations to Martinrea International Inc. In 1988, ThyssenKrupp acquired German shock absorber manufacturer Bilstein, where it became a division until 2005, where it became a wholly owned subsidiary. In 1999, Thyssen acquired the elevator division of American-based conglomerate Dover Corporation. 4 years later, ThyssenKrupp acquired the Korean-based Dongyang Elevator. In 2005, ThyssenKrupp acquired Holzwerke Deutsche Werft in Kiel from One Equity Partners. ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems is now the most important European group of shipbuilders. In addition to HDW Blohm plus Voss in Hamburg, as well as Nordseewerke at Emden, also are subsidiaries of TKMS. One Equity Partners holds 25% of the TKMS shares. In December 2005, ThyssenKrupp acquired 60% of Atlas Electronic from BAE Systems, with the ADS acquiring the remaining 40%. In August 2007, ThyssenKrupp Materials North America acquired Online Metals.com, a small quantity distributor of semi-finished metals and plastics based in Seattle, Washington. In early 2008, ThyssenKrupp Aerospace acquired Apollo Metals and Aviation Metals, both suppliers to aerospace and defense based in Kent, Washington. In June 2012, ThyssenKrupp sold ThyssenKrupp Wapaka to KPS Capital Partners. ThyssenKrupp Wapaka is Tier 2 supplier to the automotive industry, located in Wapaka, Wisconsin. In April 2014, ThyssenKrupp announced it was in talks to sell its Swedish maritime defense unit to Saab after failing to agree deals with the Swedish government for a new generation of submarines. U.S. subsidiaries. On the 11th of May 2007, ThyssenKrupp AG announced an investment of €3.1 billion for a project consisting of building new carbon steel and stainless steel processing facilities in southern Alabama that would employ 2,700 people when fully operational. The project, along with a multi-billion-dollar greenfield steel-making facility in Brazil, is a cornerstone of ThyssenKrupp's new global expansion strategy into the North American and NAFTA high-value carbon steel markets. The company announced that the investment was increased to $4.6 billion in 2010. As of the date of the announcement, the investment was the largest private economic development investment in Alabama's history and the largest by a German company in the U.S. The site selection announcement came after several months of competition involving several southeastern sites, which was eventually narrowed between a site on the Mississippi River in Convent, Louisiana, and a site on the Tombigbee River in Calvert, Alabama in North Mobile County, about 40 miles north of Mobile. The site in Alabama was eventually chosen. Groundbreaking on the Calvert facilities was held in November 2007. The carbon steel and stainless steel companies are independent and operate under different management teams. Co-locating both facilities on the same site enabled the company to optimize the investment in infrastructure and in some shared processing. The carbon steel company, ThyssenKrupp Steel USA, which represented 70% of the overall project investment and hiring, consists of a state-of-the-art hot strip mill, cold rolling mill, and 4 hot dip galvanizing lines. The hot strip mill began operations in July 2010, the cold roll mill in September 2010, and the first of the hot dip galvanizing lines in March 2011. The company projects to be fully operational in late 2011 and employ approximately 1,800 people at the time. ThyssenKrupp Stainless USA projects to employ approximately 900 people when fully operational in late 2012. At full production, ThyssenKrupp Steel USA will have the capacity to produce 4 million metric tons of carbon steel for NAFTA customers in the automotive, construction, appliance, pipe and tube, and service center industries. In July 2011, the carbon steel project was awarded Best Greenfield Technology by American Metal Market, considered to be the longest continuously published newspaper in the metals industry. ThyssenKrupp Stainless USA built a cold roll mill and is in the process of building a melt shop. Additionally, the Alabama State Port Authority invested over $100 million to build a state-of-the-art transloading slab terminal on the southern tip of Pinto Island in Mobile Bay to service the inbound raw material slabs for the upriver carbon steel facility. Raw material slabs shipped to the Alabama facility from ThyssenKrupp AG are transloaded from Panamax ships at the terminal onto shallow draft barges for transport upriver to the facility. The terminal is equipped with 3 wide-span gantry cranes with state-of-the-art magnetic lifting gear designed by ThyssenKrupp, and it utilizes RFID technology to read identifiers on each slab and provide up-to-date inventory records that provide each slab's location and weight. The same magnetic technology is also used at ThyssenKrupp's Calvert facility. The terminal was necessary to Alabama's award of the project since the Tombigbee River depth and lack of turning basins prohibit deep draft ship navigation to the site in Calvert. The world's steel industry peaked in 2007. Just as the company spent $12 billion to build the 2 most modern mills in the world, in Alabama and Brazil. The worldwide Great Recession starting in 2008. Heavy cutbacks in construction, combined with sharply lowered demand, and prices fell 40%. ThyssenKrupp lost $11 billion on its 2 new plants, which sold steel below the cost of production. ThyssenKrupp's stainless steel division, in Oxum, including the stainless portion of the U.S. plant, was sold to Finnish stainless steel company Outokumpu in 2012. Finally, in 2013, ThyssenKrupp offered the remaining portion of the plant for sale at under $4 billion. On February 26, 2014, ThyssenKrupp sold the Calvert carbon steel facility to ArcelorMittal and Nippon Steel for $1.55 billion. In April 2015, ThyssenKrupp announced it would be investing more than €800 million in the North American region by 2020 to take advantage of the economy's reindustrialization. Sale of tailored blanks. In September 2012, ThyssenKrupp agreed to sell the automotive components manufacturer Tailored Blanks to the China-based Wuhan Iron and Steel for an undisclosed price. At the time of the agreement, Tailored Blanks had annual sales of around €700 million and a global market share of about 40% in automotive laser-welded blanks products and sales. ThyssenKrupp generates 33% of its consolidated sales in its home market. The rest of the EU and the NAFTA region are the key trading partners for business and exports outside Germany. ThyssenKrupp companies hold leading positions with their products in numerous international markets. ThyssenKrupp is the world's leading producer of tailored blank steel. Tailored blanks weld steel materials of differing thicknesses. Business areas. The operations are organized in 6 business areas: components technology, elevator technology, industrial solutions, materials services, steel Europe, steel Americas, controversies, price fixing. In November 2006, 5 elevator manufacturers, including ThyssenKrupp, were found guilty of price fixing by the EU over 9 years, along with competitors Otis Elevator Co., Schindler Group, Kona and Mitsubishi Elevator Europe. A few months later, on the 21st of February 2007, ThyssenKrupp was fined $629 million by the EU. The EU Competition Commission reported that the companies had worked to rig bids for procurement contracts, share markets, and fix prices between at least 1995 and 2004. The Commission reported that the companies did not contest the facts found by EU regulators, noting none of the accused requested a hearing to answer the allegations. The fines totaled $1.3 billion. In July 2012, the German Bundeskartellamt served fines totaling €124.5 million on ThyssenKrupp GmbH, GmbH, Essen, Stahlberg Rohenge GmbH, Seevetal, which since 2010 belongs to the Vossloh Group, ttSG-Schienentechnik GmbH and AMP Co. KG, Duisburg, a subsidiary of the Voestalpine Group, and Voestalpine BWG GmbH and AMP Co. KG, Butzbach, another Voestalpine subsidiary for price fixing of steel railway lines and points blades supplied to Deutsche Bahn, the German state railway. According to Andreas Mundt, president of the Bundeskartellamt, for many years the rail suppliers have guaranteed each other virtually constant shares of Deutsche Bahn's contract volume. The cartel members monitored compliance with the contract volume quotas, assigned each other projects and set protective prices in order to steer the contract award process. Quote, the proceedings had been triggered by an application for leniency filed by the Austrian company Voestalpine AG. Investigations into further companies are ongoing. Turin plant fire and trial. On 6 December 2007, an accident inside a plant in Turin, Italy caused the death of 7 steelworkers. It appears that a damaged manifold burst and showered the workers with flaming coolant oil. They attempted to extinguish the flames with water, but instead caused a flash fire. The plant was scheduled to be closed in February and was understaffed, but due to a delay in the other plant in Terni, Turin's workers were often forced to perform overtime in the last months. 4 days before the accident, another fire took place, without any casualties. The accident happened around 1:30 a.m., after 4 hours of overtime. When the workers tried to use nearby extinguishers, they found 3 out of 5 depleted. A technician admitted to being instructed by a manager of the company to fill every extinguisher in the factory the day after the accident, in order to mislead investigators. The Italian magistrates are still examining the causes of the fire, with workers describing lax safety measures to investigators. During the investigations, a document was seized from Harald Espenhahn. The document stated that the only survivor should be taken to court, because of that person making accusations of ThyssenKrupp in the media. The document also stated that the fire was due to the fact that the workers were distracted. CEO Espenhahn has been charged by the state prosecutor of Turin with voluntary multiple murder with eventual malice, while 5 other managers and executives have been charged with culpable murder with conscious guilt. All have been also charged with malicious omission of safety measures. On Friday, 15 April 2011, Espenhahn and all the other indictees were pronounced guilty of all charges. Espenhahn has been sentenced to 16 years and 6 months in jail and to a lifelong ban from holding public offices. Prior to the court case, Espenhahn was transferred from Italy and is now believed to reside in Brazil. On 23 February 2013, the appellate court changed the sentence for Espenhahn to culpable murder, not recognizing the voluntary murder, thus reducing the conviction. Convictions for the other managers were reduced as well.